Hello there, good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Niket Karunaratne.
And I'm Dilanjali Anand, and these are the top stories making headlines for tonight.
The President says Sri Lanka is committed to fulfilling the dual state concept with Palestine. A meeting between Princess Anne and the President. Japanese Foreign Minister engages in a 2-day official tour of Sri Lanka. A decline in the rainy weather condition in several provinces from today. Uniforms to students before the commencement of the new school term. Minister Bandula Gunawardena requests for a 3-day parliamentary debate over the central bank governor's statements for the year 2024. The United Nations Security Council unanimously adopts a proposal against the Houthi rebels.
On to those and other stories in detail now. Her Royal Highness Princess Anne of the United Kingdom and her husband Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, who are currently on a 3-day official tour in Sri Lanka, have met President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President House in Fort yesterday.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and President's Council Ali Sabri has warmly welcomed the royal delegation, Princess and her husband, up on arrival at the President House in Colombo. Thereafter, the Princess engaged in a cordial discussion with President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Professor Mrs. Maitri Wickremesinghe. The Royal Princess placed a special note in the visitor's book kept at the President's mansion. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumarapinga was among the group who graced the occasion. Princess Anne visited Kandy today, and she and the delegation were ceremoniously welcomed by Governor of the Central Province Lalit U. Gamage. Later on, she has venerated the Sri Dalada Maligawa after being greeted by acting Dewadana Nilame of the Dalada Maligawa, Mahinda Dala.
Japanese Finance Minister Suzuki Sunichi has arrived in Sri Lanka today on a 2-day official tour. He was welcomed on arrival at the Katunayake Airport by State Minister of Defence Pramita Bandara Tennakon. During his tour, the Japanese minister is scheduled to conduct talks with President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Foreign Minister Ali Sabri. The visiting delegation, including Minister Suzuki Sunichi, is scheduled to engage in tours in several places, including the Sri Lanka Parliament, Sri Lanka Jayawardhanapura Hospital and Lanka Nippon Bistek Institute.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri shared the first briefing of the year for the members of the Colombo-based diplomatic corps at the ministry today. The minister outlined several areas of progress made on many fronts in 2023 that led to a greater degree of stability, including debt restructuring, economic and legal reforms and reconciliation. Minister Sabri referred to 2024 as the year to revitalize the country's economy following the crucial achievements that have been made in overcoming the challenges of 2022. Minister also stated that the government has taken concrete efforts towards the establishment of a commission for truth, unity and reconciliation and ensured the gazetting of the draft bill. He added that following extensive consultations with the stakeholders, it would be tabled in the Parliament shortly. He also informed that the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation Bill was passed by the Parliament on 9th January and 2 more draft bills will be tabled in the Parliament on anti-terrorism and the Office for Overseas Sri Lankans. Minister of Public Security Tirana Alas, Senior Advisor to the President on Climate Change Ran Wijewardena, Deputy Treasury Secretary RMP Ratnayaka, Foreign Secretary Arunu Wijewardena and Attorney General Sanjay Rajaratnam were also present at this briefing.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts a decline in the heavy rainfall persisting in the northern, north-central, Uber and eastern provinces from today. However, incidents of falling earth mounds and rocks continue to be reported from several parts in the island. The incessant rainfall lashing on the Badula district has paved the way for the falling of a mountain of soil on the Lunagala-Bibila A5 main road, completely blocking vehicle transport yesterday. As a result of heavy rainfall, all 6 sluice gates in the Buttala-Monaragala reservoir remain open by 2 feet each. The Monaragala District Disaster Management Unit warns the people living beyond the banks of the Manikganga to remain vigilant due to possible rising water level of the river. Many floods have been reported in the Badiklo district as well due to heavy rain. People in Kathankudi have been severely affected. Our correspondent says many of the flood victims staying in welfare camps. A 23-year-old mother was killed when the walls of a house in Mineria collapsed due to strong showers. Her 1.5-year-old daughter and spouse were also injured and admitted to the Polonnaruwa General Hospital.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he is targeting a higher development in the local gem industry in the next 2 years. A new program is scheduled to be introduced in this connection. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his commitment to propel significant advancements in Sri Lanka's gem industry within the next 2 years. To achieve this goal, he intends to implement a new program. Emphasizing the program's positive impact on both the national economy and the industry stakeholders, the President highlighted plans for extensive modernization within the gem and jewellery sector. President Wickremesinghe underscored the importance of not only providing tax concessions but also transforming the gem and jewellery industry into a pivotal sector that contributes significantly to the country's foreign exchange earnings. The President conveyed these aspirations during his attendance at the opening ceremony of the Gem Sri Lanka 2024 Gem and Jewellery Exhibition organised by the China Fort Gems and Jewellery Trade Association today. The exhibition hosted at the Benthura Cinnamon Bay Hotel will run till January 13. President Wickremesinghe, inaugurating the event, actively participated in exploring trade stores and engaging in friendly conversations with gem industrialists to better understand their challenges. The China Fort Gems and Jewellery Association presented a souvenir to the President during this occasion.
The center for Sri Lanka's gems was Beruwala, and Beruwala is famed for it. We have looked at the gem industry, and in the last budget speech, I said we will announce a policy framework in regard. In the next 2 months, we'll work out the policy framework. Gems industry in Sri Lanka will be developed. Sri Lanka has a potential for gems. Chinese market is only starting. You're here from the Shenzhen Jewelry Association. When I went to Shenzhen in 1979, it was only paddy fields. And now you have a vibrant economy. So similarly, we have some things to learn. And both gems, re-exports of gems and value addition in gems is what the government policy is aiming. And to increase our revenue, our foreign exchange from gems. With that in mind, we have to modernize the industry. We have to modernize the gemming industry. We have to modernize the cutting industry. It's a whole range of issues. This is not an industry that can be solved by giving tax benefits if you don't do the rest of it. So we will have incentives plus, as you notice, upgrading the industry to a higher level. Both these are necessary. And we hope that in time to come, we will be able to ensure that there is a regular supply of gems and a better supply of gems and a bigger supply of gems to all of you outside. As Ian Fleming said some time ago, diamonds are forever. Not only diamonds, Sri Lankan gems are also forever. Sapphires have had history and has been noted for a long time. I am sure if the Queen of Sheba could wear it, why not you all? So we are giving you that opportunity. It's you who will take it.
Now in further news, a diplomatic milestone being reached, President Ranil Wickremesinghe convened a significant meeting at the Presidential Secretariat today, engaging with ambassadors from 10 Middle Eastern nations.
Throughout the discussions, the President re-emphasized Sri Lanka's unwavering commitment to the two-state solution in Palestine. President Wickremesinghe underscored the necessity for authorities to take decisive steps in removing settlers from the West Bank while advocating for the establishment of a permanent, functional Palestinian government. The President stated that a two-state solution could not be achieved with a single state. He firmly articulated that terrorist attacks by Hamas should not serve as justification for the continued bombardment of Gaza, highlighting the imperative of pursuing a peaceful resolution. Additionally, the President called for continued humanitarian supplies, including contributions by Sri Lanka to Gaza. He also called for an immediate ceasefire, illustrating Sri Lanka's steadfast commitment to the current humanitarian plight of Palestinian people. Ambassadors representing Middle Eastern nations expressed gratitude for President Wickremesinghe's consistent public support for Palestinian and Gaza. Recognizing Sri Lanka's unwavering support for UN resolutions calling for a cessation of hostilities in Gaza, the ambassadors appreciated Sri Lanka's steadfast stance on the matter. President Wickremesinghe elaborated on Sri Lanka's involvement in Red Sea security operations, reiterating the commitment to safeguard the freedom of navigation while ensuring a minimal adverse impact on Sri Lanka's economy. During the discussion, the President outlined Sri Lanka's comprehensive foreign policy, emphasizing the strengthening of relations with Asia, West Asia, Africa and the Middle East, in addition to existing relations with the West. This strategic approach reflects Sri Lanka's dedication on fostering diplomatic ties and contributing to regional stability. Led by the Palestinian ambassador, representatives of Egypt, Qatar, UAE, Libya, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman and Iraq attended the meeting.
Minister Susil Premajayantha says steps will be taken to provide the school uniforms prior to the commencement of the new school term of 2024. The minister has made these remarks at the occasion of receiving the stock of official uniform clothing donated as an outright gift by the government of China today. Chinese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Shi Shanhon, has handed over the contribution to the minister at the Ministry of Education. The minister said on this occasion that 80% of the requirement is being met by China. The first consignment of 5.8 million meters has been received. The minister said that the second consignment is due by the 4th of next month. The remaining 20% of clothing material is scheduled to be purchased by China. The minister also said that the Chinese government is prepared to extend the necessary technological and financial sponsorships for the digitalization of activities in 3,000 schools in the island. The minister has extended gratitude to the Chinese government for the cooperation extended at a time when the country is at an economically difficult situation.
So I take this opportunity to thank the Chinese government and the ambassador especially for handing over of 80% of the requirement of uniform materials to be distributed among 4.5 million student population in our country, representing 10,126 schools and 822 Pirivena. So this year, the 80% of the requirement is granted by Chinese government. The balance 20%, we have already placed orders to the same company who providing 80% of the uniform materials through State Trading Corporation. So State Trading Corporation will take steps to import the balance 20% in time. First consignment of uniform materials arrived here on 30th of December, and the shipping corporation, who is in charge of distribution clearance and the distribution of uniform materials to 313 centers, divisions, already begun. So therefore, as a symbolic event, today we have organized this event to hand over officially the 80% of uniform materials donated by Chinese government to Chinese Embassy Colombo. Actually last year, when I took over the ministry, it was agreed to supply us only 50% as a donation. So after having discussion with our good friend, His Excellency the Ambassador, so we managed to get 70%. So this year, in advance I started discussion, and then as a result, it was agreed to supply us or donate 80% of the total requirement of uniform materials. So the first consignment arrived here.
I'm honored to be here today at the handover ceremony of the China's Grand School Uniform Materials. I recall that Honorable Minister and I witnessed the handover ceremony of China's Grand School Uniform Material on 8th last year in the Ministry of Education. Now, the Chinese government is once again reaching out to his Sri Lanka friends. The first consignment of the school uniform material and the Chinese grant to Sri Lanka, that is 5.8 millimeters, arrived in Colombo on December 30th, 2023. And the remaining material will soon arrive within 1 month. As we all know, our long-standing friendship between China and Sri Lanka has stood the test of time. I also take these opportunities to emphasize that in terms of China's grand school uniform to Sri Lanka, Honorable Minister Primajai Ansa make great contributions to these good deeds. I also would like to emphasize that China has never been absent when Sri Lanka friends need help. I very much appreciate Sri Lanka friends' good tradition that attach a great importance to education. And the children are not only the future of the country and the hope of the nation, but also the inheritors and promoters of China-Sri Lanka friendship. Also would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Sri Lanka for his endeavors to revive the economy. Sri Lanka has suffered from enormous challenges in the past few years. We are happy to see that Sri Lanka is getting back on track gradually. There is no doubt that with the concerted efforts, the heroic Sri Lankan friends will once again overcome the current difficulties and urge the better, bright future.
Minister Dr. Bandana Gunawardena said in Parliament today that a 3-day parliamentary debate should be conducted on the statement of the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka regarding year 2024. Meanwhile, the adjournment debate presented by the opposition regarding the economy was also conducted in the House today. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that a group of parliamentarians connected to the government side was reported to have conducted a large-scale party in the middle of the sea using 2 vessels, Hansakawa and Viakola, belonging to the Ports Authority. The opposition leader called this act as a great sin.
මගේ කතාව කපන්න එපා මේ හැමෝම බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා පාප කර්මයක් මාර දීපු අවසරය ඔබතුමා අවභාවිතා කරනවා ඒකට උත්තරයක් පෞද්ගලික ප්‍රයෝජනෙට මෙතුමා විපක්ෂ නායක හැටියට වගකීම
Mr. Prasanna Ranathinga said Sajith Premadasa should have acted in a more responsible manner as the leader of the opposition.
විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා ඔබතුමා හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමා ගැනයි හිටපු අයයි ඔක්කොම ගැන කතා කරනවා නම් ඔබතුමාගේ තාත්තා තමයි කොටියට ආයුධ දුන්නයි කියන කාරණා මම මේව ගැන ඔබතුමාලා මේ මට්ටමේ කතා කරනවා අපි ඊට වඩා කතා කරන්න සූදානම්.
අයවැය අවස්ථාවේදී අපේ
State Minister Premlal Jayasekara said there had been a request from several government ministers during the budget discussions to inspect the western and eastern terminals within the port premises. He added that when a request of this nature was presented to him, he, as a state minister, had a duty and responsibility to accede for such an inspection tour. Premlal Jayasekara further said the opposition statement was totally false and intended to misguide the general public. He added that the Ports Authority had not misused funds in any manner in this operation and further said that all relevant bills in this connection could be presented.
අසත්‍ය චෝදනා අපිට එල්ල කරනවා අමාර ජනමාධ්‍ය සම්බන්ධනුත් ඒ වගේම අද මෙතන බොරු ප්‍රකාශ කරපුවා අය සම්බන්ධනුත් යම් ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් ගන්න
ඊයේ දිනේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහ බැංකුව අධිපතිතුමා
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the governor of the Central Bank Sri Lanka has declared an important statement to the parliament and the country yesterday. He was reported to have stated that as the full authority on finance is with the parliament, that whatever government that comes into power later on will have to implement the program stipulated by the IMF, and such a government is unable to conduct any other program. The minister also said accordingly that he believes that it is crucial on the national level to conduct an extensive dialogue in this regard. Minister Dr. Gunawardena has also stated that therefore he is requesting for a debate on the statement for the year 2024 of the Central Bank Governor. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that obviously we should work with the IMF. He also said that as a country striving to develop, Sri Lanka should place the state revenue at the level from 15 to 20% of the gross domestic product of the country. State Minister Shehan Senasinghe said that despite whatever forms of accusations levelled against the government by the opposition today, they should remind of the fact that had the government not taken the appropriate measures, the economic collapse could not have been stopped. He also said that the opposition leader at that time was afraid to take over administration of the country. The state minister also said that people of the country would one day realize the fact that it was due to the difficult measures taken by the government that the economy of the country had reached the positive state at present.
සුරංගනා කතා කිව්වට මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය හැදෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි ජනතාව තේරුම් ගනීවි යම් කාලයක මේ අසීරු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගත්ත හින්දා තමයි අපේ ආර්ථිකය යහපත් වෙන්න පටන් අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ කියලා. අවුරුදු එකමාරක් වල ජනාධිපතිතුමා
SJB parliamentarian SM Marikar said that 1.5 years had elapsed since the president assuming duties. He has pointed out that however the president is attending only meetings of the government officials, he does not come before the people. The parliamentarian also said that they in the opposition will rise with the oppressed people. Member of Parliament Mahindananda Alutgamage said that numerous groups on several occasions had attempted to chase away the government by upsetting the people. He added that however their attempts had never been successful.
Now, the inaugural meeting on the implementation of the Decentralized Budget Development Program of 2024 was conducted today under the leadership of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Parliamentary Complex. The obtaining of district-level proposals is scheduled to be completed by the 31st of this month. A ministerial subcommittee under the leadership of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena will supervise the entire program. The Prime Minister has stressed that the balanced development should take place in the respective districts by looking into the aspects of poverty, population growth and the extent in square miles.
We'll be back with more news from home after this break.
Hot and spicy fun vibe එක විවර කරන්න beat එක remix
Welcome back. Continuing with more stories, patients were subjected to severe disturbances today as well due to the trade union action jointly conducted by several trade unions in the health sector.
In certain hospitals, the trade union action had failed due to army personnel fulfilling the services. The joint trade union action has been organized in response to the provision of a 35,000 rupees allowance to doctors. Despite the failure of several employees to turn up for duties at the Kudi hospital as a result of the trade union action, many employees dressed in civil attire were seen in extending services. Patients in Gampaha say they were compelled to reach private hospitals to seek medicine as junior staff and medicine mixers are engaged in trade union actions in several regional hospitals in Gampaha. Many officers at the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital have reported for duties at 7 o'clock this morning. As a result, it has become possible to maintain the emergency unit, the children's heart disease treatment and heart surgeries without an obstruction. Army personnel has covered services such as nursing and issuance of medicine at the Badula Teaching Hospital as a result of junior employees of the hospital failing to report to work.
897 more suspects have been arrested under the Yuktiya operation. 23 suspects out of this number have been subjected to further interrogation on detention orders.
The Wallana Anti-Crime Task Force has also uncovered a large-scale drug fraud dealing with the narcotic ice, conducted by the son of a millionaire businessman in Kakirava yesterday. Upon inspection of the residence at the business establishment of the relevant businessman, stock of ice valued over 3.5 million rupees has been recovered. Son of the businessman under the pseudonym Soni has also been taken into custody. The police say he has been engaged in distributing narcotics in the North Central province. The police special task force has been successful in uncovering a cannabis plantation cultivated in the most discreet manner in an extent of more than 5 acres using drone technology. The raid was carried out in Kabilitta South in the Kataragama Police Division. The police STF said that around 650,000 cannabis plants of around 10 feet each have been planted. The Yukti operation conducted in the Maradana Police Division has nabbed 23 suspects. Around 50 police officials, 30 Special Task Force officials and 75 army personnel have carried out the raid from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. today. In another search operation conducted in the Blue Mandal Police Division, a culprit named Rajkumar, who was a brother-in-law of Kimbula Ale Guna, was arrested. Around 300 STF commandos and the police, army and navy personnel have taken part in the operation. The suspects have been produced before the Hulfsdorf magistrate courts.
The first multilateral workshop for the implementation of the third National Activation Plan to 2023-2025 of Sri Lanka was conducted in Colombo yesterday. The program has remained stalled since the year 2019 due to political challenges, COVID and economic crisis. However, it was recommenced in the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe through collaboration of President's Office and civil organizations, Transparency International and Sarvodaya. The Open State Partnership means a multilateral initiative aimed at the implementation of the Open State system based on promoting accountability, transparency and innovation through interaction of governments, civil societies and citizens. The project, which got underway in 2011, have amalgamated the activities of 75 countries including Sri Lanka with 104 regional administrations and civil societies. The workshop has been organized based on the proposals presented through the public surveys of the President's Office and opinion presented to civil organizations. The meeting was attended by President's Office and government ministries and departments functioning as a national hub of Open State Partnership and representatives of nearly 100 civil organizations. That's all the news we have from home. We'll be back with international news after this break.
දක්ෂිණ ලංකා පොත් ප්‍රදර්ශනය 2024 ජනවාරි 19 සිට 28 තෙක් පෙරළු 9 සිට පස්වරු 7 දක්වා ගාල්ල නගර සභා පරිශ්‍රයේදී සංවිධානය පොදු රාජ්‍ය මණ්ඩලීය ප්‍රකාශන ජාලය
The UN Security Council has passed a resolution demanding Yemen's Houthis end attacks on ships in the Red Sea and free the Japanese-operated Galaxy Leader that was seized last year. 11 members of the council voted on Wednesday for the measure calling on the Iran-aligned Houthis to immediately cease all attacks which impede global commerce and navigational rights and freedom, as well as regional peace. 4 members, Algeria, China, Mozambique and Russia, abstained. None voted against. As permanent members of the council, China and Russia have votes but chose not to use them. The US says the Iran-backed Houthis have carried out 26 attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea since commandeering the Galaxy Leader and its 25-strong multinational crew on November 19th. The Houthis claim they are targeting Israeli-linked on Israel-bound vessel in protest against the ongoing war on Gaza, but many of the ships have had no indiscernible link with the country and many lines have begun to avoid the area altogether.
Terima Kutumi, Pantamai.
And on sports news, rain has hampered play in the third one-day match of the current series between Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe teams at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo today. The Sri Lanka team has entered today's match with 2 changes. Siobhan Daniel has received one-day match status for Sri Lanka today. Wanindu Hasaranga, who did not play in the first and second one-day matches of the current series, was recalled for today's match. The Zimbabwe team, after winning the toss, has decided to bat first. The rain has obstructed the match when the Zimbabwe team was at 40 runs for no loss at the end of 7 overs in a short while, restricting the innings of each team to 43 overs. However, the match was held up once again due to rainfall when the Zimbabwe team has scored 48 runs for the loss of 3 wickets at the end of 11 overs and 5 deliveries. Eventually, the match was limited to 27 overs. Zimbabwe was 96 when the wickets were all out at 22.5 overs. Wanindu Hasaranga managed to score 7 wickets for 19 runs.
Terima Kutumi, Pantamai.
And that's all the news for tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.